This is episode 6, and we have a band that's been pulverizing the masses since 2007. That's what their bio reads. Yes, we're talking about none other than Gutslit, repping the brutal slam grind scene in Bombay for now about 11 years. Is that right, Gurdeep?
Yeah, 2007.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the 11th year. So
11th year?
In November, we'll complete 11 years.
Right. And so the album Amphitheater came out in 2000, like a year ago. Yeah, so that was like your celebration of a decade of Gutslit with the release.
Decade plus that Europe tour, so releasing it internationally, and now we're taking that album to 10 more countries. So it's gonna be like the album that has traveled like the world.
Right. So it's been like this huge journey for Gutslit because people have told me about how the old gigs used to happen where there were really shitty stage equipment, and like you've just like managed somehow on like shitty amps, barely any venues that were around till like B69 happened. So could you tell us something about like how the early years of Gutslit, like when Dynal was the guitarist as well, your older vocalist and drummer as well?
So early years were exactly like how the other people in India also have gone through. So right, as you mentioned, with the stage setup and like having basic sound facilities available, it was not there. So forget getting a proper decent drum kit or even like a tech rider going. So tech riders were usually just like emailed and just like deleted immediately or just like kept unread till the show was over. You're like, oh, oops, I didn't read it. So yeah, but then there were shows where even like the console was there, the kits are there, the amps are there, but the sound guy forgot to get a snake. So there's no connection from whatever's happening on stage to the mixer. So basically, even if he's gonna act like one of those DJs in the EDM scene, he cannot do anything because whatever we are doing on stage, he will never be able to control anything. So that was there. Then the first show that we played, the best part was that the carpet was under the drum kit was, I think so, like just borrowed from Aladdin or something, because that just fucking keep moving, man. It just didn't stay in one place. So middle of the set, my drummer's fried because
it's slipping.
It's slipping ahead. The drum, the double bass is slipping ahead, and he's at the back and he's like, "Arey bhai, isko koi roko yaar." So he was as it is fried, and so in the middle of the set again we had to stop because the bass amp was in one corner of the stage, the guitar amp on one corner. No drum monitor, no nothing for the crowd. It is like whatever's coming from the amp is gonna be like for the audience, and only the vocals are going out on the P. So yeah, we've been through that also.
Right.
So it's been quite like a ride where we were teaching people okay, we would need this. This is what you need for a show, and this is the basic stuff that is needed in terms of sound and all. So yeah, it's been quite funny, hilarious.
It picked up then.
That's why we're doing the podcast, because those memories, those stories, yeah. Now it's like another deal altogether. Now I've gone wireless. Pratik is still retard and he's still on wireless. So you can imagine, man, things have improved now. These kids need to learn now.
Isn't he keeping it analog if he's like running it?
Exactly, fuck you.
Yeah, like old school. Like the real deal.
Half the time he's confused what to carry and what to not to carry. He fucking can't even pick up his axe.
Bro, at least come for jams.
So, apart from the old times Marine Center gigs, I think the gig was called Meat Feast, right? Yeah. So, back then, like Bombay bands, there weren't too many bands doing extreme music.
Yeah.
Like there were bands that did probably like groovier, styles of music, but nobody representing like the extreme end of music. So how did that? Have you seen a change over the years, like how you all were perceived, how music also around has come up?
The music as again, everybody's seen this come up. So in the last 1 decade or a little more, like I'd say 15 years. So you've seen everything, from Demonic Resurrection doing their 18-year thing,
right?
Plus bands like Exhumation coming out, PDV coming out, Infernal coming out, Infernal Wrath. Everybody came. They did their best, whatever they could at that time. Try to get into colleges, get new crowd in, just play the music out, play their heart out, and get fans in, and get more people in the metal scene and all. So things worked out quite brilliantly then, which is not happening now actually. There was more, I would say, passion back then because the people were totally in it. Even all these bands that I mentioned, those people back then also day in day out they were in the music what they were making.
Right. So Aaron, you had a band as well, right?
Yeah, I had a band called Living Fossils, which then became Bloodshed.
Bloodshed, right.
Yeah, so we were like melodic death metal kind of stuff.
Oh, Bloodshed?
Yeah, melodic
I
death,
thought-
but then a little more brutal.
Yeah,
overtime.
definitely more
Last
brutal.
week happened and shit. So, no, we had like all this blackened death, like.
Got it.
band
Wait
of
till
wild.
Kaushal evaluates that band. You're gonna get two new genres in
We
there.
never
Okay,
recorded
you
much.
got it.
It broke up before like that thing got. But it
You
was
did
good
record
time.
technically.
Yeah, we did.
Like there were other bands as well.
Shout out to Akash Sawant, if you ever see.
Akash Sawant, if you're listening to this, you know this is for
He
you.
didn't
My
give it to
band
you?
broke up because of Akash Sawant. But no, still love him.
Yeah, there was Blood Meridian also, I remember.
Blood Meridian was
Yeah.
with Ashwin and
Pushkar and Pushkar.
Orko, right?
Orko, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
Pushkar was on drums. So around that time there was a lot of good bands. I think Gutslit
Yeah,
was one
actually.
of, like we played a gig with Gutslit.
Right.
Yeah, Oro.
So,
Oro.
was
That
it?
exhibition was also there. That was one of those
Okay.
shows like where I was very happy. Yeah, I'm playing with exhibition, like
So
and
there was actually a lot of death metal around that time. I think
Right.
the internet just fucked it up because now there's so much of like the
Generic-
is happening.
gent.
That's dead now for what it's worth.
Prog.
But then the prog scene happened.
Deep's trying to take a diss at me, but it's not working.
Not taking a diss at you, it's just-
It's an observation, yeah. It happened. It happened, yeah.
Like you, if you see even in drums wise, you don't see a lot of people playing blast beats anymore. More on that chops and the
Yeah.
grooves and stuff
Yeah.
like that. You'd hardly find a drummer in India right now playing a blast beat or anything. There's like
Unless there's
not much
Mayank,
hand
yeah.
actually.
Uh-huh.
And because everyone's influenced by that, and like it's great music for what it's worth, but like the extreme side of music in India, I think is a little dying. I think it's more prominent in like
In Bangalore.
and,
Right,
like,
right.
Hyderabad and stuff.
Right,
like
right.
that. But for what it's worth,
Hey,
yeah,
Brahma's
blast
also from
beats,
Bangalore, no? Brahma's also from Bangalore.
No,
bro,
no.
you're from here.
No.
They're from Bombay, bro.
Yeah. He runs the business in Bombay, in fact.
Mafia.
So yes, like talking about your original first release, Skewered in the Sewer, and like y'all even had a collaboration with Malika Sundaramurthy on it, and like I think y'all did a split. That was a split, right?
Yeah.
No, before that.
No.
There was a split
Earlier
before
was
that, right?
This Skewered
Yeah.
was the full length.
Full length, right?
With just like Malika on it.
Right, got it. And how was the reception for that back then? Do you think like that kind of pushed the music style in like Bombay as well?
Yeah, it did. Like I mean, like that at that
It
point.
earned you your fan base?
I'll tell you what basically was happening that time in the Indian scene also. Basically, the bands who were putting that effort in and recording and getting out with a CD or even like with like even if they do a digital release, there was a solid like what I'd say that effort that they put in.
Right.
So it was finally out there for people to listen to because you can't just travel everywhere and play a show in India especially. So at least people out there in the world also like they would come to know like okay yeah there's this band from India who's made this album and they can listen to it.
Right.
So it actually helped us a lot that all the bands who had done that. So then Skewered definitely pushed us out there because we could like send our music out and they could just hear it and understand okay there's a band called as Gutslit from India. So that definitely helped, man.
And the split before that also got you all some international attention.
Yeah,
and
the split actually got us more international attention than in
Right,
India because
right.
in India people didn't even know
What the
grind
style is, yeah.
grind is basically, or even forget grindcore or even
Right.
total death metal. So it was in India, it was perceived as something like okay, let's just erase the artwork. It's too gory. Let's rename the band name, the song name, everything. It's too gory. What is this? We've never heard of something called as Boiled in Bile and Kathleen Wheel. Kathleen Wheel was still fine, but Boiled in Bile and Eviscerating the Stillborn and all, they were these are some what is this? They were not even able to perceive that there can be a band called as Gutslit and there can be a song called as Eviscerating the Stillborn. So,
Bangkok on that album.
yeah, we went to Bangkok also with that EP. So that was again the first death metal band from India to play an international show was Gutslit.
right.
So which again the Indians don't know, but the people abroad they all know about it. Recently I did a Japanese interview, and the people in Japan the interviewer he knows. He's like, oh yeah, you were the first Indian band to get out of India, and I was like, wow, people
They're paying
abroad
attention.
they know us, but then in India if I say that, then they'll be like, huh, is it? So they'll be like, wasn't A.R. Rahman the first guy to go out? So
No, there's not a lot of bands that have gone out in general. Like it's like a handful. You can count them.
It
off
was working, when Inferno was here, when the thing was happening with Inferno, it was brilliant. Like, at least one band, like how, like
Was
now
going.
Wakan is doing this. Like, at least like, one band or two bands are going out and doing something. Like, everything is just getting killed. Like, it's like just सब अपने अंदर ही बैठ के.
But bands are working on tours and like making sure you get a string of gigs.
Man.
I know it's difficult.
Very difficult.
Everyone's put like it's a combined effort on all fronts. We'll get to the touring part later.
Yeah.
So just wrapping up on like the old lineup. So when did Aaron join? Aaron was like from the current lineup. You were the first to join the band, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think I joined midway through Skewered ka record.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
So Skewered had written most of like 3-4 songs.
Yeah, so basically we had written with Abhishek Nandi.
Right.
And when Aaron joined in, like, he had exactly like, I can say 50%. 50% he had to do like, okay, these are the new songs, you have to work on drums. And 50% these are Nandi's parts, and like, you can like just cover this up and
I was with
record.
Providence was happening quite in full blast around that time.
That time, yeah.
And then these guys approached me because Nandi and I was always fan of whatever Gutslit and stuff like that. When they were going to Opsy in the first time with
Misery.
when Misery and all was playing, I was like a big fanboy. I was like, bro, I want Adam Jarvis ka sign, please. And then like a few months later, Nandi quit the band for whatever personal reasons and stuff. And these guys hit me up, and I think it was a good jam, the first 1-2 jams, but
It was a good scene.
joined and recorded Skewered with them.
Actually, Abhishek left on that a very off note. Like, his dad had committed suicide, so he left on a very off note. So even we couldn't get him back, and he's not from Bombay.
Okay.
So when he went back, so he was like, like I'll just stay back, and he actually never came back. Like, till date, he's not back to Bombay. So he's in Kolkata, Alipurdwar, where he's from, West Bengal.
Daniel quit.
No. Daniel quit like when the Skewered album, even after a year after that, I think so.
Okay.
The Skewered album was done, recorded, everything is ready. We just had to release it, and then Daniel
I
was
think
like,
after it got released also.
No.
We played Death Feast.
We weren't able to release that
I
album
saw
by
it.
playing
I
it.
saw
as
it
such.
last in
Gojira.
Gojira.
No. See, I'll tell you exactly how it happened. Gojira was like show we played in
Gojira
Bangalore.
gig.
That was one of the most like randomest show that I think so even Gojira must have played in their whole life. Like, it was too random.
That
It
gig
way
was
too
awesome
random.
because I was standing right in front and
Yeah,
I saw
out
this
of
guy.
the-
I'm like, who's this fucking Honey Singh
Out of the
playing
50
bass?
He was
Playing grind.
So you had never heard of Gutslit until
No,
then?
No,
He was
dude, I
fanboy.
just came from Muscat. It was like 5 months since I came from there. and-
You turned up for Gojira and you discovered
yeah, and I
Gutslit.
saw Gutslit playing. I'm
Okay.
like, fuck, there's a Sardar playing grind. Okay.
I was there at that show too.
That's
Yo, yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, you didn't go for NH7 that day. NH7 was on the same day.
No, that was the next day. Oh, yeah, that
Same
day.
day, bro.
Same day,
No,
Testament.
yeah,
Same day.
I really wanted to go to
Watch
as
Testament.
well. Yeah, but I don't know, man. At that point of time, I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, I just went for the.
But Gojira killed it for what it's worth.
Yeah, Gojira.
And plus,
Gojira
plus,
killed
there was
it.
a good
Like-
lineup of bands for the Gojira show.
Right.
One of the tightest bands like that.
There was
I've seen.
Eccentric Pendulum, Gutslit, a couple of UK bands. I think.
Bloodshot Dawn.
Too much racism in that whole show.
Against Indians only.
Against Indians. That's the
Why?
worst.
Why?
By Indian.
Yeah, by Indians against Indians.
Oh.
Fuck's sake. You can hit up agnostic whoever, like they'll tell you Escher's not and all how.
Yeah,
fuck
they
all
didn't even
that
get to
fucking
play.
gig
Oh.
was.
Like the agnostic guys, they traveled like 2.5-3 days by train to
So
Bangalore,
then Gojira-
and they were not even informed that okay, you can come now to the venue at least to see
So
Gojira.
then
No,
I remember very clearly Gojira stepped out of the plate and said like, yo, it's called IMF, Indian Metal Festival, and there's no Indian fucking bands playing. What's the point? We don't want to do this shit. So then they squeezed in fucking Gutslit and Eccentric only on the basis that we had reached there early in the morning for a sound check.
Right.
So
First come, first serve.
Yeah, first come, first- actually it happened. First
I
come,
mean, it was fucking bullshit. And then Eccentric played like after us 2 songs, and we played 2 songs, and we became good friends with Eccentric at that point because we were like, "Kya chutiya ki nahi chalu hai?" It was so hard.
And in 2 songs, Pratik was pissing his pants like.
No, but Pratik met us the day before. And
Yeah, I met Aaron actually. I'm like, hey man, what up?
So you joined the band shortly after?
So
No,
after that
7
show,
months.
basically we were gonna do
6-7
a Skewered
months.
release and all.
Right.
So Daniel said he can't continue with the band. So something good happened. He left, and
Now you can say that, bro. There's nothing like.
No, so
that was
Daniel,
good. You want me to tell the reason here?
Daniel wasn't.
Oh fuck.
Happy
Actually,
with
you
it.
should.
Fortunately, I
found
didn't know
a
the
new
reason.
direction. Daniel found a new direction.
Right.
And he had
Right.
following gospel
Right.
and found Jesus
Right.
and all, which is great for him and all.
Right.
So, But we left on good note and
Politically
all that.
correct.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, according to Kaushal, that's the most legit
Every-
reason to leave the
every-
band.
I'm not saying anything.
See, I knew this. You waited for Kaushal to come down for this interview. Kaushal is gonna say this for the whole interview. I'm not gonna say this. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything.
So then he quit the band and we were like really bummed because Gurdeep and Daniel were like
Great.
they
Yeah,
started
man.
it.
Like, you know, we started it. Plus, more than that, like, you know, like, it's how bands develop. Like, you know, me and
Bond
he used to
and-
hang out like almost every day.
And
Right.
he told
Like
us on
every
Gurdeep's
day.
engagement.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
He told-
not even my engagement, my
Engagement party.
bachelor's party or engagement. Oh yeah, one of those.
So life
So I
happened
was
to.
like, wow,
Yeah.
happy and sad at the same time.
So something good happened, I got married.
Poker
And
face,
something
bro.
good happened, he left. So it's all for the good. in the
But
end.
yeah, I guess like that happens with a lot of musicians. Like, you know, life happens, they have to move on, responsibilities and things, you know, priorities change.
Like Kaushal lost his god and Daniel found his god and they both made a band.
And we both joined the same band at some
You never know
point.
that can happen. You never know. Either one of them suddenly gets a dream and then like, you know, woof.
So, yeah, I mean, and then Pratik joined late because I'd seen him with Chronic Phobia and like I knew about him. He was searching for a fucking guitarist. It was between him and this other guy.
Yeah, I
Akshay.
didn't recommend it, Pratik.
Yeah, I did. I don't know
Yeah.
whether it was the thing of the band scene.
But now I'm not sure whether it was a good thing or a bad thing.
Cause it's a
But,
good, bro.
yeah, I knew about him and like a lot of good stuff was being
Yeah,
said
yeah,
about
yeah.
him and I knew that he had like what.
Hmm.
So he came, he fucking ripped the songs.
Yeah, he
Was
killed it.
really
He
good.
killed it.
In hindsight,
between-
no, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean for what it's worth, like he came.
At that
and
point,
it
yeah.
was between this guy and there was another guy. Which band does he play? Biopsy. Akshay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Like really good guy, but he was going abroad and stuff like that. But
Okay,
then
okay.
Pratik came and like blew him out of the water.
Biopsy is Keshav.
Yeah, but he plays guitar. Keshav plays drums.
Oh yeah.
So then he came, he joined. Then we wrote after a span of 2 years, we wrote Amputated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
he's
a pretty
still
long album, but everyone was getting into the groove. We did like
Right.
the 2 European.
That was
Actually,
a
you know
good-
what happens is no,
That was- Yeah, for me it was I wasn't the biggest fan of death metal.
Right.
Like too many death metal bands at the time.
Right.
Like I just like maybe Dying Fetus, Cannibal Corpse, Decap, you know, the
Or like
commercial-
Opeth, like old era Opeth.
Yeah, yeah,
Because you
old era
love
Opeth. Yeah, yeah,
prog
I'm a
and
huge-
yeah.
Yeah, so
it's always about the old. It's
so
better than
I
the
actually took it as a challenge to join a band
Psychroptic.
which, you know,
Oh, got it, yeah.
which can actually like push my
Push you,
style and,
yeah.
and I can finally like, you know, try and write
Got it.
something which is so different,
Right,
you know, from my usual prog stuff because I started writing for Minerva on the side.
right.
But this was a new experience because I could actually sit with a band. He used to recommend bands to me. I used to go back, check them out. In fact, I got into Misery Index and a couple
Yeah.
of bands because of him.
I still remember like
No,
you
no,
know,
because
who's
he's
how-
not me, bitch.
Misery Index was him, bro.
It was
No, no.
after that.
Yeah,
No. I didn't exactly when this happened. I didn't exactly when this happened. No.
I know it's
I
you.
know. No.
You love Misery.
This is-
This is very personal. No, one second. We were at your friend's house.
At
after
my
that
house,
Raj.
bro.
That
At
was
my
your house. That
second-
Raj,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
After that Raj
This guy.
Palace, we were in the afternoon after sound check. We were there,
Yeah.
and that is the day when I introduced Misery Index to him, and you were like, "What the fuck?"
He
is this?
played
What the
like
fuck is this?"
Traitor's album and that just like blew. So from then I'm just like, fuck, that's awesome.
It was that exact day. I remember.
I mean, I also
It was
like
his
bands
old
like
house.
Hate It or
We were
Nile
all-
and everything.
It
So
was him.
I already told
But he
you.
didn't listen to you, no, before that.
Yeah, he didn't listen. That's why. But,
But then I introduced you.
Misery is my band. Please don't take. You take Squash Balls and all that.
Yeah, this is what happens when you get 4 guys in a room and like, you know, get them to talk about shit.
Except Kaushal because he won't say it. I didn't say it.
Hey, we're talking about the older lineup.
Yeah, like we'll get to
Oh, what,
we'll get to
man?
Kaushal, yes. And
What is a 2,000 year old man concept?
What?
yes, and we will move on. And so the next thing that's up is Haramcore plays. You'll be listening to Gutslit's Necktie Party of Amphitheater. Stay tuned and stay Haramcore. grooves and grinding moves. And Jai Mata Di, let's chop. Gutslit can, run a campaign pretty much. Lots of killer catchphrases, hashtags.
Sardar in the band. of
Brutal
course.
Sardar, of course. And it's actually interesting because the audience really loves, to address you all with these catchphrases, these terms. The chop hands has it's become your thing. So you've earned such a great identity for the band over the years. And now it's it's reflecting in your new tour with Gutted at Birth, Bobs and Vagine edition.
That's only for India.
Very current.
Send Bob.
Trying to stay relevant.
But yeah, it's great to see.
Lasagna.
It's great to see use a little humor in otherwise a very brutal and extreme form of music. And I think it goes a little hand in hand because it is ironic in a way. Like it's not like the music is not really about endorsing anything, right? So coming back to Amphitheater and the tours that y'all have been doing, the current lineup. So how did the touring cycle begin for y'all? When did you reach out? When did leads come in? You thought this is a great idea, let's do it.
The first OEF Obscene Extreme Festival invitation came in at 2011, I think so.
Okay.
So we got, that time Daniel was there in the band, Abhishek Nandi was there in the band, and Aditya Barve was in the band.
No,
so
Alag was there.
No, Alag wasn't there. Aditya Barve was there. So that was when Aditya Barve joined the band. So we I approached the guys there at Obscene Extreme, and we got we got an invitation. Everything is good. Everything is announced, and then that tragedy happened of Abhishek's dad. He left. So when he left, we were maybe we can try it with the drum machine. So that happened, and then we were getting ready, and then suddenly we realized Aditya realizes he doesn't have a passport.
Oh.
When it comes to applying for a visa, he's like, oh, do you need a visa? Do you need a passport to go to Europe? And we were like, okay, yeah. So he doesn't have a passport. So then he goes and tries applying for that. So by the time he's getting his passport, we were like, we're not gonna make it. So let's get only Daniel and me going, and we'll get someone from there,
to fill in,
to fill in, do vocals and all for us. So that also kind of worked out. We got everything in place and all. Then came the visa consulate. The visa consulate strictly delayed everything, and they just actually fucked us over because there was some medical conference going on in Czech Republic at that time, and they were accepting visa forms only for them as of then.
Right.
So they asked us to wait for a week, and we didn't have that much time.
Y'all could have argued that Gutslit is like a medical surgery.
Most of the names have come out because of that only. So anyway, so that happened, and then we had to back off in the end because the visas just didn't come through. So we backed off, and then we waited for a year. And incidentally, a lot of things changed in the band. Aaron Pinto came in,
Right.
and then that happened. And Stewart got released. Then after that, Prateek came in. So the lineup was strong again, and we were really solid at that moment. So then I decided, okay, let's try and get out of India again. So we approached them OEF again, and then after 2 years, I think so, after the first incident happened, so then we got through them again. We confirmed OEF. Then incidentally, one of my friend he hooked us up with another festival there, that Feast in Germany, and another independent show, a club show in Leipzig, in Germany itself.
Okay.
So that time we played with Catalepsy, and it was a direct support for Catalepsy, the band from Russia. So that worked wonders for us. That took us places people noticed people at OEF they went full ape shit.
Oh yeah, seriously. Fuck.
So we played twice at OEF.
Oh.
We played main stage and we played after show.
Sweet. I think that was a great platform for us because
People discovered.
We were there and we thought we'd be out there, but people had already
known
researched.
about
also the turban really
yeah.
fucking great.
Just walking around and
Gimmick.
So what we had done was basically Stewart in the show. We didn't release it in India as such. There was no label
Official release.
We had a label deal with a Japanese label and a Russian label.
Got it.
So Coyote from Russia and Amputated Vein, which is again Gaslit music part of that. From Japan, they did the release for Stewart. That helped us a lot in OEF because the album was already there.
Right.
The
They had heard it.
with the local people. They know,
in fact,
they've
the
heard
Russian
it
guy even came for this one with our CDs. The guy who...
So yeah, so then we met everybody there, and then that helped us a lot. Then Netflix introduced us to the Stillbirth guys and all, which we eventually met later over the next year.
Right.
So the next tour. So things like just like one thing to the other. Like,
And
just led.
y'all have done 2 tours with Stillbirth so far, right?
Two.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is going to be your 3rd one.
Yeah,
So
third
that's
one.
like interesting. So Sahil was telling me on the previous podcast, I'm sure you've heard it. So he was mentioning of how bands do buy-in deals
I know.
to,
I
you
know
know,
that.
open for bands, and that's how they're like, you know, they're just spending money to tour. And as opposed to like y'all are building alliances, you know, you've got a brother band technically to
Kind of
help.
growing together.
Yeah, and y'all are growing together, helping each other out. So how did that come about? Like, how did you all hit it off with Stillbirth?
I'm telling you, it's just like, that it just happened by coincidence
Uh-huh.
that we just landed up at the right place at the right time. And the best part was that our music was quite solid.
Right.
It was like not just like, just being there and being lucky and giving
First
everything.
time,
No.
actually-
We played, when we were there at the concert, at the shows, the people who had called us, the promoters, they were skeptical. Oh, yeah, we're getting a band from India. It's a good thing and a bad thing both. Like, but then once they saw us live, and when the people
That
like
was
saw
the
the
first
interaction,
time.
that was the first thing that they also noticed, and that word of mouth, like publicity, actually,
Right.
it actually went out.
Right.
Because at one festival, there's a person from some other festival, like who might be like
Yeah,
who's
he'll get a
scouting
good
for
rec.
bands.
Yeah.
He's scouting for bands for his festival next year.
Got it.
So that actually helped us a lot because
Uh-huh.
we played the stage and there's already like someone in the crowd who's like, oh wow, this band is
And even
good.
people who knew of Skewered, the album, they thought that we sounded much better live than on the album.
record,
so,
okay.
the expectations
And on
were
that,
kind of...
on the first tour, actually, that changed a lot because when we joined that bill, we were as the newcomer, the newbies, and the band. People didn't really. People
We're
don't
not an
give a shit about
underdog,
the
but then
newer
yeah,
band.
Right.
like the new guys,
But
like
when we
okay,
did
what do they have? to offer?
They were blown
on a
up.
platform, like everything. We even got to like headline a few shows and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And from that tour, actually, we got Brutal Assault the next year.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
know, and then we started off the.
Brutal Assault was after Death Feast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2015.
Yeah. The headlining thing happened after Brutal Assault.
It happened because of
that
Death Feast,
happened
actually.
because of that
Yeah.
whole scene.
So in Death Feast, the
We got
organizer
like
of
bigger
Brutal
and bigger
Assault...
festivals and stuff like that. Brutal Assault,
Brutal
biggest
Assault-
festival we've played yet.
So again, Brutal Assault, like like we got the main stage directly. So we were like one of those bands like in the morning slot.
Got it.
Obviously, like playing for the first time.
Right.
Let's see
At
what
a
happens.
huge festival.
So in the morning, like we are up with the second band up. And
Right.
we are like too skeptical what the turnout is gonna be.
We were like, what the fuck? Because it was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
second day and
Second-
the first day
yeah.
people get wasted.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
everyone's
that
just having
happens.
fun.
At the same
And
time,
so,
we were very
when we
excited
started
because
playing-
we know the
When we started playing, so like you could see the entrance from the left, the entrance of the venue, and it's a fortress. The whole venue is in a fortress. So we are like there, and when we started playing, and like there's a huge herd of crowd like coming in, and like after like we were like halfway through, and then the whole like scenario
It was
changed.
full, like-
It was full.
It's packed, yeah.
And by the end of it,
Everywhere.
like, it was just
And
packed.
like,
We were
like
Nuts.
even people like they want to go and see the pictures like Brutal Assault, it's like packed, like people everywhere, and like
Right.
there's a nice mosh going on, people are enjoying, there's like dust everywhere, so a good scene. So the organizer himself like came up to us and later and he told us like I've never seen so many people turn up for a morning slot ever.
Right.
So it was like a good compliment, and then
Right.
again that helped us get on more with more
Got it.
people. Then during that year we had played a tour, the first Brutal Grooves and Grinding Moves, and that first tour, like when we were on tour, wherever we were going, we would at least meet like a person or 2-3 people like who were like yeah, I saw your Brutal Assault. Like my friend told me about.
Or they had
your Brutal
merch.
Assault.
Like,
Or they had
some
merch.
of them were just wearing our merch. And
yeah.
So it was like when you're going to those cities and like you're meeting people who already seen you that year itself. So it was
Nice.
quite nice.
Yeah. And like to come to the point where you were like y'all were doing 4 band tours, right? So how do you all go about setting these tours up? Is it like they work with helping y'all with booking, y'all do something else? Is it like a responsibility allocation? Like how does it?
First tour, it was mostly the guys from Crepitation from UK and Stillbirth from Germany.
Right.
So the guys from UK and Germany, like they put in all their hard work and efforts, and like got in all the contacts and the routes and all going, and they like got.
Actually, Vlad put
everything
us on that
was
tour, right?
Vlad put us on that tour, but the tour itself was done by Lucas
Correct.
and the guys from Crepitation, basically.
Okay.
Matthew.
Lucas from
So
Stillbirth.
Matthew was actually the scout, like the main thing was like the back home, the people and all. So then they had done a lot. So it was like good how it worked out. We got the shows and all going and all, like we played the whole tour. Next tour again, like, once the lineup was decided, like, it's gonna be Crepitation, was like, we can't make it again because of their work commitments and all.
2017.
So then Lucas, like, thought of a band, and they got the South American band Carnivo de Presupus for this tour.
Okay.
Then those guys, their contacts plus, like, their fan base plus everything that we had, like,
Right.
like Leipzig for us, like, we had played there, so it was easy for us to get back to Leipzig again. So it was like, kind of the thing that whatever we could
Leipzig
contribute,
actually, we always play to almost sold out audiences.
So that was gonna happen, like Leipzig was always there. So then that thing or the other, like, just keeps on building, and then my contacts, their contacts, immediately their contacts. In Asia is the other way around, like, then they got in, like, a few shows, we got in, like, the majority of the shows. I got Hozo from Northeast to help us.
Okay.
I even got Harsha to help me, like, with a few shows and all. And like, they all pitched in. I got a few fans who recommended, okay, you can contact this person, that person, like how the Dubai show happened. So it's like things build on.
Right.
Then
It
like,
catches momentum.
A few shows are done, like, then contacts are built in, like, by pulled in by the Stillbirth guys. Like, Lucas has pulled in a few contacts.
Right.
So like it's a joint effort.
Right.
The Asia tour is like a complete joint effort.
Right.
There's everybody involved in. So yeah, it's a good scene.
And Sahil also mentioned things like, if you're the band that opens, you actually carry the backline on stage, you help out with all of that.
No,
Was that the same for you all, like in terms of the experience?
When the brutal grooves grinding moves thing. So the thing with Europe is everyone carries their own backline.
Right.
In India, for what it's worth, we are
Pampered as
spoiled.
fuck.
Yeah.
We are actually spoiled. Like, मेरे को art monitor चाहिए और सब.
Right.
ये वो सब scene है. Like, we get the drum kit and we get, like, so in India I get my cymbals, I get my pedals, and that's the norm for everybody in general.
Right.
But over there, you carry your own
Everything,
backline, you
yeah.
carry
Amps
your own
and
drums, you carry your own amp, you carry your own amp head, whatever
Stands
the
and,
fuck
like,
you
stage
want,
setup,
you have to
everything.
get your own shit. And if you're an opening band, you have to literally ask if I can borrow your
Right. Can I borrow your amp?
Can I use it or whatever?
Yeah.
And most of the bands will straight up tell you no, I'm not going to, or they'll say I'll pay you, I'll rent for that particular.
Right.
So when the first time it was like, it blew our mind that we got a little humbled in that sense, because like we realized
You had to work basically. You can't just go there and sit
abroad
on your
it's
ass.
full
Yeah.
DIY. You do
Right.
your own shit, you
Right.
bring your own stuff, and you fuck your own gear up. You don't
Right.
fuck
Yeah.
anybody's gear up.
Right.
And all that stuff. And then the first time they didn't really. We had taken our cymbals, we had taken our guitars and stuff like, so everything was good, and they had a whole proper van with the backline with the
Yeah,
drum.
they actually rented out.
So it was a common backline for all of
them.
them.
everyone,
Backline
yeah.
for everyone. And so everyone would take, like, not even everyone, it was like a
Group
party.
effort,
Every
yeah.
time
Everyone,
you'd reach,
yeah.
Right.
you'd unload,
Mhm.
you'd go
Set
set
up.
up,
Set
you
up
do
and
your
yeah.
sound check, whatever.
Gig
Play
is
the
done.
gig. People think it's all like rock and roll, party,
Balls.
sex and drugs. You fucking travel for one country to another.
Right.
You unload, you go for sound check, you unload, you then set that shit up, which is a bitch. You set up the backdrop and all that. You do sound check, you're dead by the end of it. You do your warm up, you play the gig, and you're like, oh fuck, abhi party kar de.
Balls.
But you
gotta
got
set
next
up
Not
your
party,
back.
it's your own backline. You have to fucking go, take
Yeah.
that fucking heavy drum kit, heavy amp and all,
Everything.
everyone. It's like
Right.
a fucking scene.
But thankfully, the advantage of having so many people
yeah,
Is
is
that
that
it
everyone
but
will
it's so
always
much
be people.
fun, and like every time
Yeah.
it's a new experience, and then you put it back.
And there are always like for
Very chill.
every country there's one lazy guy for sure. In every
Take
band.
that role.
Aaron's a lazy guy.
And don't forget the merchandise.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
merchandise. You have to carry your own shit.
Right, of course.
Setting up
Badge,
your own
do
merch
inventory. The first thing is like, you need a medium size. Oh fuck, I'm gonna go down under the box and get everything out. And then like at the end of the day, okay, how many sold, and pack everything up, and then you have to be ready for the next show, because
Right.
then again you're gonna be scouting for how many do I have, I
Right.
don't have.
And then you just chill for a bit.
But
and
you know
then
the
you're
best
back on the
part?
road.
It's a
The
lot of
best part
physical
about-
work. Lot of physical
Yeah,
But it's
I
also
got
like that's
games
what-
for that shit.
Yeah. So with the brutal group, the best part of like it was the joint effort. Again, in the setting up and picking
Right.
up also.
Right.
So that's what like kept a nice like I would say like the modesty factor, or like it's like the good feeling factor. where
Right,
where
right.
everybody's-
Contributing.
everybody's
Everyone's
putting in
working together,
100%,
so it's
right.
like you're everyone's.
So it
There's
felt
no one
nice. Like,
person.
there was no like okay, you're the opening band, or you're the headlining band, or you're like you're gonna get preference, you're the vegan. No. Fuck you, man. Get
Shots fired.
Okay.
But yeah, that reminds me, is this specific to like the grind and like the underground scene, extreme music scene? Because it might be different for like more commercial, like more
This
accessible
is the
music.
commercial scene there.
Uh-huh.
Like most even big bands,
Metal is the
they are
commercial
like
scene.
metal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Even big bands have
Right.
to carry their own backline.
Right.
You know?
I mean, unless you're talking about like big bands,
Yeah.
I mean, who travel in nightliners and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's different. I mean,
But even
obviously
there-
they'll have a crew. And
But even
everything.
there, they
have
take
a
their
crew.
own.
They have a crew, yeah.
Which
Like
is
Mastodon
they have.
would have one.
But I've seen like we've seen like big bands also like when they are concerned about the equipment,
They'll
they're
do it.
there
They
when the
do their
backline
own
is being
thing, yeah.
unloaded
Yeah,
also.
like-
In fact,
This time
Suffocation.
Yeah, Suffocation
They
also.
had
More
like a
particular.
van which was the size of ours, dude.
Yeah.
And we're like, what the fuck?
And we were helping them like unload everything.
Yeah.
I was
And
like,
they were there- they were there, like,
amp player and
Yeah, and they were there like just helping out and making sure that their equipment is also safe. They won't just like go out and party and all.
Got it.
They were there like okay, let's make sure that everything is right on
It's
stage.
a
and
hard
everything
struggle,
goes
but
back.
it's a fun struggle.
Because if they also miss out anything and like the van is loaded and they leave for the next city or country, it's not possible to come back. It's not because your route.
Everything gets screwed. Yeah, your tour plan is screwed.
Exactly. So in fact the backliners and all there like they have a full sheet of like what is loaded where, and they even have a 3D Tetris map going on. This has to go in. This has to go in here. So they remember okay, there's something missing here. So that's professional man to the T.
Wow. So you all get support from the guys there in terms of all of this, like
So
getting
far,
around.
we've got a lot
Yeah.
of
It
support
worked out
and
brilliant.
agreements.
As I said, in Brutal Grooves, everything was rotation. Like, in terms of work also, if there are 4 people doing merch and getting equipment down, the next day automatically 2-3 other people from one band are coming in. Even with the slots, we were rotating slots. Like if we are playing first in one day, then we are playing second, we are playing third, and then the fourth.
So everyone gets
Then
it right.
everybody gets like a
We
headlining
had
and
good gear, so even they were using our stuff.
Yeah,
we were using
right.
Yeah.
theirs, so
Got
it was
it.
all
It's a
and we
pooling
had,
in,
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Pooling
we
in.
all
It's like a
really,
big
really
family,
close
yeah.
friends.
like you wanna get
Yeah.
drunk also, you wanna get sloshed, it's fine. But then if one member of your band also can do the work of the others, it's fine. Like your other
Yeah.
members can just get sloshed and
Chill,
do
huh,
whatever. Take €3 from the other person and go on the rooftop.
This is like turning into a pot shot session.
That was fun though. I'm not
So, what do you all have to say about the guys from Stillbirth? Your experience with them. So, like in general, like
Yeah, chill as
and what you're
fuck,
expecting on the tour, like the Asia
Too
tour.
much fun.
They will be in for a surprise.
Uh-huh.
They will be
because
in for
see,
a
they're not gonna
surprise.
get their weed every night. Okay, that's gonna fuck their heads for sure.
Yeah.
They love their weed.
Yeah. So
And they're
their
very
so
fun,
their
chill guys.
their van
They're
is
funny
like the
as fuck.
chill van because they're baked.
And
they're
they
having a
don't,
good
and they don't
time.
drink also that much. In fact, they just smoke.
Yeah.
So with alcohol, like they're like
I
one of
could
those
see
weird-
that.
they're
I could
those
see
weird
that in their
generals.
artwork as well. They had like a bud in the corner.
Yeah. They're those like those.
Like that's why it's like the green color is like their-
Yeah, it's the
they-
thing.
But they are actually active stoners. They
Uh-huh.
don't fuck. No, they don't fuck work. Nothing.
Right.
They're always on
that's
the
there,
go.
that's there.
They do their job really well. They're really tight and yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
if
great
they are
service.
smoking up, it's not like they'll be like in some corner of the room and they'll be
No,
like
they're very
right.
active
No.
stoners.
They'll be smoking up and they're like back at like on stage working here and there and then like another joint and like back again. Like, it's like dude, is that
Very
even hitting
active.
you? Or what?
Right.
I mean, their Instagram handle is called Stillbirth Parties. It's literally a party.
Yeah.
Oh well, even Gutslit party is a thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, like our van, like everyone's just going crazy. We
Yeah.
all shout all the
We
time.
are shouting,
like,
we are singing, we are
We
like,
sing like, especially with the Colombian guys. Last year we shared the van with them.
Sweet.
And
teaching
one,
them how to say like
Yeah.
Haramcore.
Oh yeah, they just
Mumele.
said Mumele.
Last time for this story also Mumele.
So they thought us fried lazen,
Okay.
yeah.
which means free
Blowjobs.
blowjobs.
Okay.
And we thought the movement.
It's like a good partner.
it
Good
fits.
partner. Good partner.
It was love.
Awful
Good give and
part.
take and all.
So
Awful
probably
partner.
everyone say fried lazen. Free blowjobs.
Yeah, that fits. So on that note, let's play some Stillbirth. Up next on Haramcore plays, we're playing Plague of Warfare. So yeah, I just want to talk about like other extreme music, acts in India. Whatever you all have been paying attention to. Even you, Kaushal, for that matter. Like since you are from Bangalore and Bangalore has a very active scene.
Yeah.
So how's the like the grind community is very tight knit and like
Yes, yeah. There's a good, pretty good grindcore community in Bangalore. I mean, it's one of the most active ones in the country. I mean, I don't think there is any other part.
It's just them and they're probably Nepal or
The Northeast, yeah.
Yeah.
The Northeast has some good extreme.
Right.
extreme
But that is
grindcore.
more death metal and like neoclassical, classical, everything mixed up.
Where the fuck? Which
I
neoclassical
mean,
band?
they have
They
a lot of-
shred maybe
They
They have a lot
have
of brutal death metal.
influence.
They have a lot of grindcore
Right.
too. I mean, there's a band called Toadford.
Oh,
Interesting.
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah.
That sounds Bombay. Bro,
I
Ford.
I saw them in one of the grind gigs in Bangalore. I mean, I would think Bangalore and the Northeast are pretty much the epicenters of the grind,
Old school.
Right.
grind music.
Right. Gutslit played a show with the grind scene in Bangalore as well.
Yeah,
Couple
we
of
played
times,
without me again. So they played Underground.
Underground?
Yeah, so Underground was the first show that we played in Bangalore.
Yeah.
That was Daniel and Nikhil Alag.
Okay,
So
back in the
with
old
Drum
era.
Machine, yeah, back
Right.
in the olden days. Yeah. So yeah, that was there. And then
You all have played a show with Grosty and with
yeah.
We
with
played with them a
Rossi's
couple of
one of
times.
like
and with Nauseate as well, right?
Nauseate.
Oh yeah, Grosty.
Grosty is
awesome,
fucking
That was
sick.
this
They're like,
one,
I think my favorite
with
band
Grossi and
from
Nauseate
India.
and Darkness Edition in the end. Like yeah.
Oh, that was Humming Tree.
That was No, that was the this one. Enslavement or something.
Also.
Simon had organized.
Dark Desolation was in which was that venue, dude, which shut down?
Counterculture.
Counterculture, yeah. That was a mad.
I was there for that
But then who
show.
was playing at this Entombed, the one which we played when the one Simon had done where we got only 20 minutes to play and we
That
played
was Vehement Era.
Vehement Era. So then who
Nauseate
played after us?
Nauseate
No, who played after us? That was Dark Desolation only.
Chaos, dude.
Chaos
Chaos
no.
played.
Chaos played
Chaos
before
played
us.
after.
Nihilus? How do you pronounce it?
Nihilus.
Nihilus.
I think it's Nihilus.
Nihilus.
It's very.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
fine.
there are a lot of
Yeah, we
good bands
played.
that.
Grosty is fun to play.
But Grossi
So
really
tight.
blew our
But
mind.
I
Sick
think the last show that Gutslit played in Bangalore was with Grosty and
Yeah, Nauseate. The
Nauseate,
one
yeah.
The one we
this,
recently
Sangeet
played.
had done. The one Sangeet did that happened.
where
Where
Gurdeep
Abbas
Gurdeep's
got a
birthday
tandoori
cake was
chicken
a
cake,
tandoori chicken cake and a roast
Uh-huh.
grilled chicken.
which he cut in half with a meat cleaver. Like.
Yeah. And then Kaushal finally took us to your place or Harita's place. That was really nice.
I have no idea.
And he was so drunk. He was so drunk.
Yeah, we just had
Everyone
some
should
time to chill.
witness Kaushal on tour.
Yeah.
Because it's
What
awesome.
happens with
The
Kaushal
faces
on tour?
of Kaushal.
He's awesome. He's got like
So let's talk about Kaushal. Kaushal's the newest guy in the band. It's like, so it's easy to pass on the getting picked on phenomenon.
Easy to pass everything on, but very difficult to wake in the morning. Very difficult to wake in the morning. Like, we've given up, the Germans have given up, the Americans have given
everyone's
up, the South
ready in their
Americans have given
vans
up.
for like 15
Like-
minutes. They're like, hurry up, and Kaushal
South
passed
Americans
out.
partied like crazy, like nobody's business. They, I don't even remember when they slept properly. They were just on, like after
Right.
every show, they were just out with
Right.
some random women or men or whatever, and they had friends everywhere. And they were like just partying, like everywhere, like, be it Amsterdam, be it like, some small town.
Right.
They had a good, and two of them have their good birthdays also, good birthday bring-ins. So it was a good scene. And even they, like, they were like, they would just sleep in the van and all, like come back and all. But Kaushal, he wouldn't get up in the morning.
I think-
everything
What
in the
can I say? I
world.
just
Even
need my
Vladimir
sleep,
couldn't
man.
wake Kaushal up.
Nobody could wake Kaushal.
I think it has to do with Kaushal's hatred for Brahmin traditions of waking up in the morning. And like we all know how much he loves God and hates.
But yeah, but that is the only thing. But otherwise, Kaushal has been quite fun. Like, when he gets drunk and he just sleeps
It's
off anywhere.
always fun, dude.
He sleeps off anywhere, merch stand.
Dude,
bands.
you'll be talking to him. Next
And
thing
he
you know,
falls
his eyes will just be shut.
Okay.
And he'll have the cigarette in his hand. He'll be shut like that. It's like, what the fuck?
Multiple times.
Yeah, man, we party hard.
And him
Work
forgetting
hard,
his
party
passport, or something, or leaving his wallet.
Wallets happen.
Yeah, he's left his wallet like everywhere.
No, this one.
On him. No. It's on him, but he's left it everywhere. Where's the wallet? And then he'll be like, after 10 minutes, Kaushal, check your bag or your jacket
Pocket
or something.
should.
Or your pocket. Oh, yeah, it's there.
Exaggeration, that's probably just happened once or twice.
That's not
You have technically or in your imagination forgotten your wallet everywhere at every show.
Damn, man, I don't really remember.
But is there
Probably
no
because I was really drunk.
Exactly. But great time.
Yeah, he gets
If you
pictures
remember,
with
you
fans
wouldn't
and
lose
all.
it, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
The best is like, he has like, fans coming up and taking pictures and all, and he obviously wouldn't know because he's drunk and he's passed out, and people are still taking pictures with him because he's drunk and passed out. So then you don't know whether they're fans or they're just like, picking an Indian guy who's fallen asleep
I think
somewhere.
we need some for our Instagram feed, so you could share some drunk passwords.
Abbas has a full collection. Abbas has a folder.
I've got so many
Abbas has a
products.
folder of Kaushal.
Fuck you guys.
Dude, I literally, every time that happens, I just go with the phone in front of him. And he doesn't even know. It's like right there. He's like, no, bro, I have so many videos, dude.
I think I have some pretty unflattering videos and pictures of y'all too.
I think it's the feelings are mutual.
Yeah, it's
This
fine.
is how
It's
this is how
fine.
tour life is.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell,
Everyone gets
Oh,
embarrassed,
yeah,
everyone
and-
gets fucked up.
Yeah, I guess
Fine, dude.
what
But I
happens
found a
on
solution
tour,
for that.
what happens on tour is supposed to stay on tour, but I mean, this is fine.
It's
But
all
I found a
fun,
solution for that on this tour. No hotels after shows. You go directly to the airport and take a morning flight out. So Kaushal can just go there and sleep.
Deep's a
sleep.
cunt. Doing that, he's the
Taskmaster,
biggest
huh?
cunt, because for 16 days we are just fucked.
You're talking
Welcome.
about the coming 16 days, right? Yeah.
People fucking work hard for this. They pray for this, like, to their gods.
Pray.
And that I want to tour like this. Like, I want to just play every day in a new country. You're getting it, Pratik, and you're cribbing a word. Look at Kaushal. He's thanking his star already. He's going to the mandir today evening and all.
Yeah, damn right.
So another thing, a striking parallel I see is how Gutslit's also influencing other bands in the scene. The most apparent one being how Elemental have shaped their sound, and they borrow so heavily from your style and your presence and everything.
Have they?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, I'm not sure if it was us who kind of inspired.
I would
hope it's
probably
not
put
us.
it that.
Okay.
I'd probably put it that way.
I really don't. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, it's okay. It's cool. It's a very fucking compliment. Take it.
Yeah,
Like-
like, take it. Say thank you.
So, since we were talking about bands doing, this style, extreme music, grindy, or extreme death metal for that matter, brutal death metal. I think Elemental kind of took your sound and
I'm fucking around.
so they took that and they've actually made it accessible to people in Bhopal and Indore, and now they're into this. And have you all played Bhopal Indore at any point?
played Indore once,
Yeah.
yeah.
How was that? How was that for
That
you?
was all right.
Yeah, we played with the Voice of the Ruin, no?
Oh yeah.
Good scene. Indore was good. The bus journey was really
Good
nice.
friends.
We got too drunk.
Oh, dude, the
Always,
poha was
have a good
mad.
time.
The hospitality was amazing.
Great
The
poha.
hospitality was really nice. The show actually, like, it ended up like having a lot of glitch again because of time issues, sound issues, this that.
Band issues.
So
some
only
10
like
bands.
we and the international
Yeah.
band and a few like 1 or 2 bands here and they could
But
play.
Elements
They
are,
canned.
Elements is always like a rager
Right.
scene with them. Like you're
Right.
always partying.
Partying, yeah.
Yeah.
Nonsense or the other.
We played
They're fucking
with
great
the-
guys in
We
general.
played with Elemental in Guwahati also.
Okay.
Guwahati also and
They're fun guys. Anshul is like a good friend and stuff. So, I mean, he was also he had also auditioned for Gutslit at some
At point.
But then Kaushal's the superior
Kaushal
one.
destroyed.
Oh, yes. The chosen
yeah,
one.
good people.
Uh-huh.
Good fun.
So y'all had also played with Nauseate, right?
Yeah. We're playing with them in Nepal again.
Nepal.
Yeah.
So I'll be. I was checking out even Nauseate recently. So to end this segment, I'll be playing next on Haramcore Plays. The entire segment that Nauseate has, since it's like super fast, it's 7 minutes in total. This is from their split with Archagathus and Camphora Monobromata.
Archagathus.
Archagathus. And yes.
Bangalore.
So yes, you're listening to Haramcore Inc. Up next is Nauseate. Stay Haramcore. Yes, we are back here at Haramcore with Gutslit, talking about tour life, talking about the partying, the hard work, doing, like basically pooling in effort, contributing to building like a good tour scene happening with other bands.
Even within the band, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of banter, a lot of fun. So you all said like these guys, Stillbirth, call themselves Stillbirth Party, right? They're a really fun-loving band.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of grind out there that is fun-loving and not necessarily political. Like these guys were Mincecore, like we just played.
Mincecore.
So they have like values and ideals, and that's more political. But there's a lot of partying that happens in
All the
grind as
time.
well.
Lot of
Yeah.
time.
And that's great. I mean,
Especially Guta Lax.
ultimately, like bands want to have fun, audiences want to have fun. So how's the Gutslit party going? Like I'm hearing y'all are getting some really cool merch. y'all are getting shorts done and hot pants done with nice pink logos on them. And
Women, please, if you're listening to this,
like jiggle your butt while you listen to Gutslit, huh?
I mean, most of it's like learning in general from whatever we do. And like when we first went to OEF, we were already in that whole party phase and we were playing that stuff. And then when OEF is amplified by 1,000. Like those guys have no.
they just have fun. That
like,
fest
there's
is
no
basically
restriction. There's no security.
There's no
whatever,
security,
but
nothing,
everyone's-
yeah.
Like they're going crazy, yeah.
Dude, there
Everyone's
are
going
like
mad.
yeah.
It's like a one true no holds
you can
barred,
have yeah.
approach to having fun.
And
Right.
it's like 69 bands, one stage, fucking on. And like over there,
You have
were
naked
just
people
having
walking
the-
around.
Like you
No dress
people
code.
on drugs.
First of all, no dress code.
Anything.
Second of all, I mean, where festivals
You can do
would like,
whatever you
actually
want.
keep barricades and all, they welcome people on stage.
Yeah.
So the monitors are placed like 6
So
7
people
feet
jumping
away.
off the stage.
Yeah, so there's
Yeah,
an
yeah.
actual passage
I
kept.
jumped.
There's a passage
Remember?
kept between the monitor and the crowd.
Right.
So you can actually come on stage. There are people who are helping, like the others
To
come on
climb
stage,
up, yeah.
And if you're too scared to like stage up or something, they'll actually throw you. Like, go. They'll push
Instructors
you.
are.
There are kids who come there. It's a kid-friendly festival.
Wow,
Yeah.
So
okay.
there are kids like there's a
But there are new
section.
like people running
That's
around
fine,
and all
that's
that.
it.
That's
Czech
fine.
Republic,
They're cool.
It's completely normal.
Czech
very
Republic is
normal
anyways
then.
for caution, like it's one of the biggest atheist countries. Like it's
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean,
they believe
There's
in
beach
science.
balls,
Everything.
bouncing around.
Beach
Uh-huh.
balls,
Everything.
it's the most
Everything.
fluid festival because like girls dress up as guys, guys
Fluid
dress up as
because of
girls.
that couple.
Girls
So,
peeing in men's
generally,
mouths.
fluids in the mouth.
Wow, okay. Wow.
That did happen right next to us,
Oh, yeah, I
bro.
wasn't there.
Wow.
When we played there, we always have fun on stage. When we
Right.
played there, we were like, fuck, we can go all out. And from there, we just carried the OEF essence, I think, with us. And
So the thing
just
is,
made it
like,
our
even
own
though
and,
even we love to have fun on stage, but I think for the albums, it's necessary to get
Right.
across your point
Right.
in the best way possible.
Right.
That is not, at least is what I believe when I write songs. I always think it has to be serious to some extent. It can't be
Of course,
like
of
all
course.
fun loving. Like, there are
I
a lot
mean,
of bands.
you will take your writing seriously. I mean,
Definitely.
I'd pull Scribe. Like, they were a fun band. They were a
Yeah.
jokey band.
Exactly,
They had a lot
exactly.
of, corny jokes happening and stuff. But at the same time, the riffs are real. Like, they are great riffs.
True.
That's what made them, popular and, like, people love
yeah,
them for that.
Yeah, I think a balance of both is what is required because when people eventually listen to your music,
It should be professional.
yeah, it should be
of
really
course.
pro. And when they come watch us, they can also have fun
when we're on
and
stage, we don't like to be serious.
Yeah,
because
we
that's
just
not our
don't,
vibe
man.
in
That's
general.
not.
Right.
Matlab,
Right.
we want to have a good
Fun,
time.
yeah.
like in the middle of songs, if we just break the songs down, we actually do that.
Yeah.
Like this 3-piece gig we played without Gurdeep once.
mean,
That was the
yeah,
best gig ever, by the way.
Yeah.
Sorry, Gurdeep.
He loved it.
What a gig, man. Like,
Where was this?
This is an antisocial.
Antisocial.
Oh, okay.
He couldn't make it. He got.
Yeah.
There was no flight.
When was this?
There was no flight available from Hooghly.
Wow.
He went for a family thing.
Okay.
And he was supposed to fly back down
Okay.
for sound check, whatever.
Okay.
And his flight got cancelled, and there was no other flight.
On that day. So then.
It was
And
just-
we got really like.
So I
we are
wrote
like,
down
what's gonna
the
happen?
next
Because we were playing last that day, and man, it was
Was it
so
a
much
Roots?
it fun.
It was a Roots.
Roots gig, I
Uh,
think.
Roots.
Yeah.
And
There was
No.
the
No.
fact that
Oh yeah, it was a
It was a
Roots
Roots
gig.
gig.
Possibly
the fact
Roots.
that
I thought
Gurdeep
it's
was not
different.
there, we knew we had to take it to another
Yeah,
level.
right,
because
right.
Then they
We
came
can't
around,
give the
shut
guys
up.
a fucked up show just because
Right.
like,
Exactly.
we have-
So there were
That's
times where
all
I
it is.
just look at Aaron and I just be like, dude, let's just
Yeah,
slow
let's
this
crazy.
shit down.
go.
Let's just, you know.
And it was one of the fucking craziest fucking
Worm rod
It
style.
was,
Mayank Sharma
it
was
it was fucking mad.
You, Kaushal, you were also on that.
Yeah,
on that
yeah,
gig?
yeah.
He was
It's
on
been
his
2
second
years
gig,
now,
I think.
right? Since you've been around.
He finally
So-
got some space to move around
Right.
at antisocial.
Dude, that was mad because at one
Yeah,
point.
Kaushal paces around a lot. Yeah.
So the best thing is usually Gurdeep's on one side, I'm on one side, and Kaushal's on,
Center.
moving around like kicking our cables. But on this
Wireless,
gig,
bro,
like there was
wireless.
one moment where Kaushal was on this side and I'm here, and the other time like we just going crazy. It was like,
Yeah, we just went for
I
it.
just-
If you had wireless, you would have been like anywhere.
I will on this tour because
Like-
Pompa is my
If you had
savior.
wireless, you would have played for Mupi.
Good one.
It takes me back to some of the first gigs that I've seen Gutslit live was in Pune, because I am from the Pune scene originally. So when Sanjeev got all over and stuff. So even my first reaction was, what is this? Because I am not, personally I don't listen to a lot of extreme music at all. And I've just started discovering a little bit of Full of Hell maybe, and just slowly dabbling in this style. Because now I think I have a context to probably understand it as well. But yeah, my first reaction was like, this is, I don't know what's happening, but I want to move to this. And then I found it's like a great soundtrack to slam dance to. And there weren't too many bands that you could slam dance to. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do this. And I've let loose, whenever I get an opportunity, I just down a beer and I'll be at a Gutslit show and I'll be flailing my hands. It's a lot of fun.
So you know what? One of the reasons I liked Gutslit when I saw them first was because I was really intrigued by this whole slam.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
I was
exactly.
just like, dude, what the
Exactly,
fuck? This is
right.
awesome because they're making it fun, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's something I've never seen before. Like every other band would just blast all the way, and then
Right.
here they just have these chops and grooves. I thought it was really interesting.
Same for me. I mean, I always thought Gutslit was an awesome band to watch. I mean, one of the best. I mean, my best memory of Gutslit playing a killer show was at Counterculture. This was alongside this
Dark
was
Desolation.
for Metal Factory Extreme. So there were 4 bands. There was Perforated Limb from Bangalore.
Right.
That was
There was
a-
Scripted from Chennai.
Yeah.
There was Dark Desolation from Bangalore, and there was Gutslit.
Right.
And yeah, they killed it, man. And it was a really
Beautiful
good
venue,
show.
Fuck, and we should play more
I
gigs
love that
with such
venue.
bands, dude.
I love playing Bangalore though.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
we
love
always
Bangalore.
Bangalore's the shit. I don't know why no one's called us for amphitheater, dude. We've been
Right.
we've still
Yeah,
not
you know,
played
we played everywhere. We just not played Bangalore yet.
Right.
I don't know, for some reason. I think, maybe
Y'all are doing a gig with Shock Therapy as well?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Hyderabad.
Hyderabad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Abbas,
Another
Kaushal, Hopper.
another fellow, brutal
Slam,
grind,
yeah.
yeah, slam
In
band.
fact, we've known them for
We
a long
played
time.
Shock
Yeah.
Therapy,
2004.
Shock Therapy were there in
Navi
Mumbai.
Mumbai, remember?
Right,
Shock
right.
Therapy were there for
band.
the second meet feast also.
So Godless's drummer Aniket, he plays for.
Right.
So I know
Right.
Aniket from
From
Shock Therapy,
Shock Therapy, yeah.
and he's been promising me Halim. I'm putting that down to Aniket. This is my Halim. He's been promising since the last 9 years. Bastard.
Dude, and to see
Yes.
Aniket's progress from what
Aniket
we
is
used
a
to see
very good
to
drummer.
what he is now, my god, he's killed it. Holy shit. Then he was still, you could tell that
Figuring
he
it
was-
out,
Back then there was Abandoned Agony.
Now
also.
he's super tight.
Yeah,
Funny band actually.
good fun.
Lot of
Now-
black metal.
Yeah, now I don't know what's happening. Just
So it's been now coming back to the 11 years. That's how the way y'all started out. How are the fans back then? Are those the same fans that enjoy Gutslit till date? Because there's been a lot of shift in how y'all sound as well. Y'all sound more modern, more polished, more groovy as well.
yeah, I think with this album, I know for a fact that some people have stopped listening to Gutslit because it's a complete change in style, and I think they liked
The older?
Daniel and Barve in the band. But I mean, you lose some and you gain some. I think we've
Right.
got more fans than we've lost.
Right.
So it's
Actually,
it's
there's no
fine.
influx of new fans. As
Okay.
I mentioned earlier in other
Abroad and
interviews
stuff?
also, there is no influx of new fans in India. I'm talking about India especially because there were college competitions first. So bands like Scribe and all would go out and belt shit up. Zignema came up from there. Devoid came from there. All these bands they would go out they'd be killing it.
Playing, yeah.
And they would be winning competitions plus later headlining them. So there would be those 3,000, 4,000 random fucks who have no idea what is happening, who are 16, 18-year-old guys or girls or whatever.
And they
then
get
they'll be
into it.
oh wow, what is this? Let me try. How you said you saw Gutslit and you were I want to get into this. How Pratik and Kaushal agreed to
Right.
the same thing.
Right.
So you would just watch watch a band and you'll be like, I'm interested in this. Like, then maybe you'll end up at Raz because Raz was the only thing there. So they would end up at a show and then like, they would slowly get into the music. They would find their favorite bands or genre and they get into the music. Now there are no college competitions. There are no shows happening anywhere in colleges and all. Everything has gone back to be either Bollywood or hip hop or EDM or the Hindi rap scene and all, whatever.
Pretty much.
So basically there's no new influx. There is no like out of the 3,000, 4,000 students, at least you'd get 30, 40 who'd come at that Thursday Raz show. So okay, out of the 30, 40 also if like 10, 15 stay back from every college, you would have like a new
sizable
set of 300,
audience,
400 students
who will check you all out in the future,
exactly.
possibly to
so now
turn into
like,
fans.
It's almost zero now. Like it's almost zero. There's no new kids like in the scene.
Yeah, I think the
like as
message
Sahil also
is
said,
going
then
through
like after 18 years again, like he's come back to the same thing. Like there's nothing happening. So then it's quite.
Yeah, that's why like even when we play abroad, it's like the scene is there.
So,
like, people
yeah.
live more like whatever.
Yeah.
And they pass it on, like from generation. There are people who have
that's
come
the
with
most
their parents.
important thing.
Right.
Like when we went with the Death Feast for the first time, our bus ticket was bought by this lady who was with her daughter and her the daughter's boyfriend. So she actually bought us the bus ticket because she like you don't have change, I'll pay for it, you can pay it at the festival. And we didn't have a guitars that time because our guitars were being like sent by a friend.
Okay.
So she actually was like, you're going for the Death Feast, so you come from India, wow, like we didn't tell her like we're playing. So when she saw us on stage and afterwards she came and met us at the merch and she was like wow, like I didn't know you guys like you have to play, and she was
Nice.
so happy.
I think it's very
That's sweet, man.
important.
Then like we being Indians, we gifted them like shirts and I like see anyway owe you money. Like, you can take money, shirts, everything. Then she
Right.
Like, no.
Everything.
We have Pratik also.
But I think the passing on to a different generation is very important, which is what in India we lack. Like we don't have that. We
They
don't
just
buy
like-
music so
right,
much. We
right.
don't over there the culture very much exists.
Of
and
course.
it's being passed down. Like
And it's also because band culture is only like 2 decades at best
True.
in
Exactly.
this country.
So
So.
bands like
And seriously over the last
Backing
10
it.
years.
Now you're backing. The wave was indie. Like, shit.
India's gone.
And now it's comedy.
Now it's Hindi
And
also.
hip-hop.
Hindi hip hop.
Yeah, hip hop's come now.
Hip-hop,
But
at least
there,
it's
it's
decent.
staying,
Yeah.
it's staying.
Comedy is taking over. Like,
Comedy.
Oh, yeah.
Which is
And
not,
it's shit
which is not funny
comedy.
anyway.
It's terrible.
But
Yeah.
like-
It's really bad.
like there is so much
Yeah.
of talent. Actually, Indian bands can give a fucking run for the money like to any European band. But we don't have logistically it doesn't make sense. But we don't have backing from our own country to go
Right.
there.
And the
Because
funniest part is-
it's frowned upon. It's looked.
Down upon.
And the
Yeah.
funniest
It's
part
not
is, like,
popular
when
enough.
when you have an Indian festival, Indians are treated the worst there. So if you have an Indian festival, like where you're getting like one Gora band, it's all about that Gora band.
Like,
And like,
God,
Indian bands can
this
be like, oh yeah, please, play this stage, play that stage.
Yeah,
Like,
somebody
open
was
it up here and
asking
there.
me like why doesn't Gutslit play an NH7? Like would it like
No, I
totally
think
kill
it
the
was
vibe?
No,
Kali. I've fucking asked
Kali,
him constantly.
Kali fuck HRC.
We are not,
Honestly, I think we would fit because if bands
Happy
like
vibes.
Bhayanak Mouth and everything, they're
Right.
also very heavy.
See, whenever
you
NH7
know?
they feel that we are happy enough for them
Right.
to play, we will go in. Tell them we'll be match.
Yeah, I mean, I think
dude,
We'll be match.
you just have to go and
this podcast should be enough proof to show them that Gutslit's a fun band, and I think even like
I think the name
someone
Gutslit only just
puts people off.
Yeah.
I remember somebody referenced you
No,
all
we
as
got that.
stomach cut jaisa kuch to
No,
band.
we got that. We actually got, we got through a college like in Manipal and Manipal University. So they have different streams.
Right,
So we
right.
got through one of them. And they were like, we want you to headline and this, that, and they're offering us like everything, flights, money, whatever. Excellent deal, man. Everything is good. And it's gonna be announced. And they're like, listen, my professor said like, the name Gutslit is like, very like vulgar and like, weird. Can you like change the name of the band, please? I was like, no. I was
Of
like,
course.
What split?
What, I was like, what do you want to do about it? So they were like, no, then we can't host you. It's absolutely fine, man. Like, it's absolutely
But the crazy part is for a country which has got like billions of people, you like any place where you have a billion people, more than a billion people, you would think that a certain
Percentage,
of the
yeah.
population, it doesn't even
Will
have
be
to be
in-
proportional. I mean, a certain percentage of the population has to,
Exist somewhere, huh?
it's
Yeah,
somewhere.
man, if you can go out and find like Rahul Gandhi supporters benches, why can't you find Gutslit supporters?
Look at Europe, dude. It's so freaking tiny, but there are so many people who listen to metal. I agree with your points of,
It's not been a long time.
It's
Yeah.
been a long time for Europe.
I
and
think they
America.
discovered only with the internet and everything because until then the
Yeah.
previous generation
But
wasn't listening to
Actually,
it.
that's point, man. We had to actually sit down and get one song from the album, download
Right,
that, and
right.
get that whole album compiled.
Right.
Maybe you're lucky enough to get that artwork, then you have the one folder done.
Right.
Here it's like you just fucking get your
Stream.
iPhone or get a
Yeah.
normal Google
Yeah.
Play,
Yeah.
just play it. You don't even have to buy it anymore.
And for some reason, after people turn 32, 33, I mean, they just become like normal people.
They find God.
The thing is,
I don't know about that.
also we live two lives. We live
Yeah. Ghar
Ghar
ka.
ka life and then we live
Haan.
in
A
band
lot
life.
of people do that actually.
In the street and in the
America, they do
sheets.
that. No, it's not. See,
It's more convenient.
no, but it's
convenient.
I wouldn't say that, Aaron, because they also
No, everyone's
struggle
got their
a lot,
own
man. They have a lot of
struggles
struggle
and-
there
yeah,
also.
yeah. In fact,
but
I
then
think
the thing
it's
is that the
better here.
smaller jobs also pay equally well. Like,
Yeah.
like how you know the people from
You get the
emulation.
time off to go and do
How
it.
you know the guys from emulation, the front man, he's like a truck driver. He just recently quit.
Yeah.
So he's
But truck,
He's
but
got his
truck
dignity,
driving in
yeah.
US, you
but
get
it
paid
pays
the most.
exactly. It pays
It's
more.
the
Like
most
all those
of the
jobs
time.
He
pay.
can leave whenever and just
Yeah,
pursue
it's like
this.
you
You're
can't do
fine.
that.
You're I'm 9 to 5 and
You have to even get a leave letter.
room.
It takes like
Right.
Kaushal and
Yeah, I
Aaron,
think
they
corporates
just
need-
take
Yeah,
it,
how do you all manage the tour with jobs and shit, man?
I think
Just
everyone
having the
except
laptop.
for
I quit my job.
I freelance.
Kaushal is still there, but he's working towards
Right.
the dreams.
But you all plan breaks from the.
We plan everything,
in all
doesn't happen
fairness,
that way.
like MTV was a great place to work. I worked at MTV and
Right,
they
right.
always supported the music.
Right.
They always
Except
Let
on the
you
channel.
do.
yeah. So
Even
fuck that. तो भी आप इंच दिलबर के बीच में Gutslit
अरे दिलबर भी नहीं है ना अभी तो ब्रो अभी तो सिर्फ वो रियलिटी सीरीज है
but they are supported.
Right.
And the people supported.
Right.
Yeah, so but
pretty much the same in my case as well. I tell them the truth. I'll be like, hey, I play in a band.
most guys
touring,
can't do
yeah.
that.
I'm going out for a tour, and I need leaves. So at least that way they're like,
They are
they're chill.
understanding.
It depends on whom you are working with and stuff.
Yeah,
also.
I think that's
basically,
more-
basically, if I have leaves left, I can take the leaves. If not, I have to take a pay cut. But it's nothing that can't be worked out at the end of the day.
I think that's what puts off most people from even like venturing. Like
really hard.
they're too scared of all the commitments that come with it.
More than that, a lot of people have shifted also abroad because
Right.
of studies and work.
Right,
So
right,
It's very difficult to get back and just be there in the scene.
Right.
So it's the bands just split. So many bands we know people have just gone.
Yeah, we do this because
See,
we
the
have
thing
that
is,
drive,
we've
so-
reached a point also where it's only going upwards.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
don't want to break the momentum.
Correct.
I think we'll try our best to make a compromise to make it work, irrespective of whatever the problems are. Because
Right.
not every band gets to do this or reaches this level.
Right.
It takes,
That's
so
very
many
true.
years.
Very true.
And this is what we've done. We struggled the first few years of this to get to this point. So now fucking it up
Yeah,
doesn't make
it has to
Right.
only get bigger.
Right.
So
Right.
it's hard because everyone's got.
And it's
so
sad
many-
because the bands that the smaller, not smaller, like the younger bands who see all this, and but it's so tough to even fucking get a show right now.
Yeah.
Right, it just kills the spirit and it kills our also vibe in general because there's no
There's
There's no give and take. There's
when
no
we were
yeah.
starting off, there was excitement. There's
Yeah, there were
energy
shows. Fuck,
everywhere.
imagine
It was-
Control Alt Delete and all
Yeah,
those games.
Control
Like,
fucking
my
Blue Frog,
God.
900 people in fucking Blue Frog. Like, so much of energy. Right now, it's.
We just have to keep telling okay, fine, I'll be like, dude, I've
So,
got some riffs.
like-
Let's
But I think
let's at least write.
I think it's
let's
testimony to the observation that I made earlier is that when people grow old, I don't know, man, they just tend to just
Lose track of what
That's
they were
only
in.
been a
and
thing
stuff.
over here because people get jobs over here. Most of our fans were all college people,
Yeah.
people in schools, and now they've got jobs. They've moved
I
on.
don't know, man.
That's what I think.
It's weird.
India's weird. Fuck that. You got to do what you
Yeah, they're hoping to stay outside.
But I hope that there's on the other hand there's a lot of bands that want to do multi-city tours now. That's been happening so actually the resolve that bands have to do this has gotten stronger. At least the few bands that have stuck around and that really want to make a mark, that want to stand out, that want to
Yeah,
play
I think
abroad,
that's the
and
advantage. It's that now that there are very few people that it's easy
the
to kind
effort
of-
is focused.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing, and I'm seeing that there's a lot of intercity promotion happening, a lot of goodwill, a lot of support. The network has improved. I'm sure there was some degree of gatekeeping that was happening at some point with y'all mentioned that y'all didn't play Bangalore. Do you think that probably is because
No, we played Bangalore.
no in the recent past for amphitheater only you're saying, right?
No, I think so. That is
Just
nothing
poor
nothing came up, and in the middle
conflicts
they
and-
had their own legal issues in Bangalore where like live shows were
That was- that's
being
just,
banned
like,
and all
recently.
in the middle. It happened. So I think so. Just the shows just didn't come through. It's just plain logistics, money, and everything involved.
See, even
nothing
for
else.
this tour, we are doing most Indian metros except for Bangalore. And
It's
No, why
okay,
the fuck?
It's okay.
I mean, people do want to watch us there, but
Yeah,
it's just
man.
it's about promoters.
Yeah,
and
you need a
at the end of the
promoter,
day,
that's
it's
the
about
problem.
promoters.
Yeah,
Right.
it should work out. Everything should work out. Like logistics, money, everything should work out.
Thing is, I don't think promoters are also finding it easy to just
Book and just
because
set
they're
up
gonna
shows.
make
Yeah.
losses. They probably
It,
know
it
that,
comes
so-
down to logistics,
Right, end of the day.
fees and all of that stuff. Man. You can't really,
Right.
can't really
It's
predict it.
getting more expensive in general, so life's getting expensive.
But but the fact that tours are happening within our country itself is a great sign. I could probably, and promoters working together as well. It's probably a sign of the things to come. You might have a mature, older, limited audience, but an audience that pays, that audience that will pick up merch, buy stuff, believes in the music and is out there to support you.
Yep.
And and even they have aspirations of going to festivals that you all have played at.
Yeah.
That I think all of that factors in. That is the real crowd that you all want to play to and support bands in general. Yes. So wishing you all the best for Gutted at Birth.
Thank you.
And have a good one.
Send
Have a
bobs.
baller time. Yes. Send bobs. Send veggies.
Which lasagna?
Bitch lasagna. Yes.
Virgin, yeah. Bitch virgin.
So don't miss Gutslit. By the time this episode's out, you'll be probably 2 days away from the gig. Yes. So do not miss Gutslit on any of their Indian dates.
Also, if it's just 2 days before the tour starts, we're also dropping
a
video.
music video,
right.
Which is
Which is gonna be
it's
day after.
fucking awesome. It's
18,
day after.
Tuesday.
Sweet.
So yeah, you just must have seen an update. People listen
Check
to
it
the
out. Check
podcast,
out the new Gutslit video and do not miss them. Gutted at Birth tour. This is Haramcore Inc. signing off with Brazen Bull from Amphitheater. Thank you so much, guys. It was a pleasure to have you all. So yes, we have Kaushal. We have
Full name,
yes.
please. Full
I
name.
don't know, that's good.
Kaushal Lucky Reddy Palle Sai.
Is that it?
Yes.
Yeah, that is
Oh,
his name.
You
okay.
don't have to put that in.
It's too late.
It's cool. It's cool. So yes, we have Kaushal, we have Aaron, we have Gurdeep, and we have Pratik. And this is me, Siddharth, signing off. Cheers and stay Haramcore.